Superman's war against Lazarus and Razal Ghoul has begun. The war began 6 weeks ago. Lazarus tanks rolled down Main Street, crushing cars beneath their treads, while passing a 90-year-old feed store and the Smallville Guild of Quilters. Attack helicopters swarmed over the state fairgrounds, and peacemakers parachuted onto the community baseball field. Every road and hiking trail was blockaded out of town, and drones patrolled the rivers. By midday, power had been cut to all of Smallville and the surrounding farms. The world's most powerful corporation had begun its siege of Smallville. They were met by farmers and salt miners, sons and daughters of Free Staters and Dodge City gunfighters, armed to the teeth with anything that was at hand. Men and women who refused to give up their homes without a fight. They stood ready on Main Street, their weapons raised as the tanks rumbled towards them. But they were not alone. A blinding streak of red moves through the crowd, slamming into the first tank and knocking it into the second. And so began the Battle of Kansas. Cal grips the tank and tosses it away, making sure to protect the buildings. Sol, I need you to use your every last crystal to fortify Smallville, Cal orders. The red dust swirls around him. I can do this, but it will mean defying my primary objective, as installed by your parents. It will mean leaving you without my protection, Sol reminds him. Cal nods as he turns and glares at approaching helicopters. My parents are dead. Smallville isn't. Not if I can help it. You're Smallville's cape now. I can take care of myself. Cal snaps as he leaps into the air, leaving Sol behind to begin swirling around the small town. As you wish, Kal-El. Meanwhile, Lois and Jimmy stand with the people of Smallville. Peacemaker's armor's weakest at the knees, Lois says as she loads her pistol and glances at Lana Lang. The waitress turned freedom fighter nods. Right, for Smallville then, she whispers. Lazarus approaches and the freedom fighters open fire. Above, a line of attack helicopters swoop down, firing missiles. They explode in the sky. Cal moves, grabbing helicopters and bringing them down. This was war, and it had only begun. Now, 6 weeks have passed. Lois leans forward in her chair inside the ramshackled Smallville Public Broadcasting Building. Sol has created an antenna on the roof, broadcasting the report to whoever will listen. The Lazarus Corporation, as directed by its CEO, Razal Ghoul, is applying the full force of its resources towards strangling this community. Smallville would have been wiped from the earth weeks ago, if not for the efforts of one man. They call him Superman. The things he can do are impossible to believe unless you've seen them, Lois says, explaining everything that Lazarus has done. Images flash on the screen, snapshots taken by Jimmy of the war and Cal's impossible feats. Alert! Lazarus has detected the signal. Forces approaching, Sol tells them. Time to go, Miss Lane, Jimmy snaps as he grabs his camera and heads for the door. Lois nods, but continues. If anyone can hear us, we need you to spread the word before it's too late. This is Radio Smallville, broadcasting from occupied Kansas. Ad astra per aspera, Lois finishes. She grabs her gear and rushes outside, finding Lana and Jimmy waiting with the horses. Cutting it close, people! Here they come! Lana shouts as they begin to ride. Behind them, the broadcast building is suddenly crushed beneath the feet of the Peacemechs. The giant walking battle tanks begin to chase after them. Sol, can you keep them off our backs? Lois shouts to the AI that is now all around them. Not without diverting vital resources from elsewhere. I suggest you ride faster, Sol tells them. The chase continues until Sol can finally open a tunnel that leads them down into the safety of the mines. Several days ago, Lois and Jimmy sat in the dark, compiling their report in the hopes of getting it out to the world. Jimmy looks at his photos, pointing out that he used to be the world's worst photographer on the planet. Lois just nods as she continues to type. Miss Lane, when you were a Lazarus agent, when did you realize you were on the wrong side? He finally asks her quietly. Lois sighs and looks up from her report and stares at him for a moment. Exactly the same moment you did, I'm guessing, she finally replies. Now, the riders head for the opening, but a blast from the peace mechs knocks Lana from her horse. Another mech targets the downed rider, but something suddenly slams into the mechs, knocking them to the ground in a smoking heap. Wind blows, swirling the smoke, to reveal Cal slamming his fist into the metal. 5 weeks ago, Cal leads the people of Smallville into the tunnels that he built beneath the town, promising that they are deep enough that the Lazarus bombs can't reach them. Cal looks to all the people around him. You'll be safe here, I promise, he tells them before turning to return to the war. But Lois stops him. The world has to be told what's happening here. Jimmy and I are working on that. But part of that story will have to be about you. You've been living in the shadows for years now. After this, there'll be no more hiding. I need to know you're ready for that. Are you prepared to show the world who you are? She asks. Cal bows his head. He is unsure, but the conversation is interrupted as someone approaches them. A man in a postal uniform. Superman? Sorry to interrupt. My name's Jed Cochran. I was the mail carrier for the Kents. When you first came here, I was the one who reported you to Lazarus, the man says, unable to look Cal in the eyes. Surprise passes over Cal's face and is quickly replaced by anger. Thoughts of breaking the man in half or hurling him into the sun flash through his mind. But Jed apologizes for what he did, explaining that he thought he was doing the right thing. But now, my family would be dead if it wasn't for what you've done here, Superman. I was wrong. I'm sorry. And thank you, Jed says as he offers his hand. Cal glares at it for a moment, but finally, he sighs and takes the man's hand. You have a sharp eye, Jed. We could use you on guard duty. These people are all your family now. Help me protect them, Cal says softly, telling himself not to break the man's hand while he shakes it. Finally, he turns away. He pauses for a moment before looking back to Lois. Tell the people whatever you want, Lois. It doesn't matter, he says softly before disappearing. Meanwhile, outside the perimeter of Smallville that Soul has created. You said we had a plan to neutralize that cape of his. It doesn't look very neutralized to me, Talia notes, questioning why Brainiac hasn't arrived with more kryptonite. But Raz smiles and tells his daughter to have patience. Brainiac is occupied, and I have my own plans for the remaining kryptonite. We will have to employ other means of strengthening our army, Raz tells her. He turns to his daughter. Talia, fetch your god box, he orders. Now, the war continues. Cal is exhausted. His eyes feel like gaping wounds as he hits the peace mechs with another blast of heat vision. His throat is raw as he cools the fires with another burst of super breath, protecting the pilots. He pulls them from their cockpits. There are children in these tunnels, elderly, and you're dropping bombs on their heads. He snaps as he drops the peacemakers to the ground. The Ross family's pig farm is 3 miles that way. When I come for you in an hour, I'd better see you sitting in the slop, thinking about what you've done. Go, he orders. The 2 soldiers look at him in fear for a moment. Finally, they nod and turn to run away in the direction he points. Cal sighs and sags as they move away. He wants nothing more than to fly up into the clouds and bask in the sunlight. But he doesn't have time. Jimmy picks up Lana as Lois walks towards him. You can't keep this up. You're exhausted. Anyone can see that. Even Superman has limits, she tells him. Cal shakes his head. Has anyone heard your broadcast yet, Lois? Is anyone coming? He asks. I don't know. No, I guess. Not yet, she tells him. Then we'll both keep doing what we have to do, won't we? Cal says softly. Suddenly, the crystal wall that Sol has created begins to rumble and shatter. Cal, something is wrong with me. I have been infiltrated. I should have noticed. Cal, I'm sorry. Sol whispers as the crystals shatter. Sol, what's happening? Cal shouts in a panic, but Sol doesn't answer. Someone else does. Sol is gone, Superman. No more will you have him whining in your ear, holding you back. You're free now. Thanks to Brainiac. Brainiac tells him as the crystals reappear, now purple. We have to get everyone out of the tunnels now! Lois snaps in fear, but the purple crystals begin to form all around them, blocking Lois, Jimmy, and Lana from escaping. A purple blast snaps through the air, slamming into Cal's chest and bringing him down. The trio look up to see an army approaching, led by Talia al Ghul. Raz steps forward and stands over the downed hero, a kryptonite sword in his hand. Our games are at an end now, boy. The final judgment has come. Before this day's through, mark my words. You will kneel before Razal Ghoul in the blood of those you love and beg to be my son. Raz growls. And that was the complete story for Absolute Superman issue 13 by Jason Aaron. This is getting intense, and I am incredibly excited to see where it goes. But let me know your thoughts about it in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe to help the channel out and get notified every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday with new videos. I'm Dan with Comicstorian, and we will see you next time. Rest in peace, Benny.